everyone, it's Gabrielle, and today we're going to go through everything I wish I would have known about balancing the Leaving Cert while working. But firstly, I would like to just clarify that everybody's situation is different. And in this video, I will go through my own personal experiences and thoughts, but you should know that the decision whether or not you work during the Leaving Cert is absolutely up to you. You should do whatever works for you. So let's get into it. So firstly, I'd like to just talk about my own personal experience and thoughts with working while balancing the Leaving Cert. I really actually discourage you from doing so because it is insanely difficult to balance. As some of you might already know, I actually went to repeat my Leaving Cert after I got the points I wanted, but it wasn't enough for the course I wanted to do because the points just skyrocketed that year. And to repeat my Leaving Cert, I actually went into a college of further education where there was just tons of people who were in the same situation as me. But unfortunately, what I noticed is that there were a lot of people there because they were working during the Leaving Cert, so they didn't get the points they wanted and they had to take another year to repeat. And it wasn't just one or two people like that. There were tons of people in this course who had to work during the Leaving Cert for many reasons, be it that they just wanted some extra money or that they had to support their families. And from my own experience as somebody who worked in 6th year, you do not realize how tired you are when you are used to the routine of going to school during the day and then working in the evening. You get so used to it that you get used to being tired and you think that is just your normal state. The Leaving Cert is an exam that requires a lot of focus and a lot of effort, and you do not want to be putting any extra stress on yourself. And that all being said, I completely understand why you'd want to work during the Leaving Cert because we all like to have a bit of money, right? That was my own motivation too. What I haven't talked about before is that I had a job in 6th year. I started in September and I was fired in December. But I didn't know I was gonna get fired. So in my head, I was working really hard at this job because I was like, yes, I can just hold on to this job from September to June. And then after June, I'm gonna still have this job and it's gonna be perfect and everything's gonna be fine. But what ended up happening was that this place that I used to work in actually had the audacity to ask me to work on Christmas Day. And I was so ready to do it. I was like, I want to keep this job. I'm gonna go work on Christmas Day. But my mom said no. And I was so angry at her for that. I was like, Mom, I need this job. I need this money. I need to be working. Girl, you don't understand. But ultimately, she was completely right for telling me to stand my ground and to say no to this job when they asked me to work on Christmas Day for less than minimum wage, by the way. So they definitely would not have given me time off before my Leaving Cert, during my Leaving Cert, and that would have really negatively affected my grades. Because looking back, I didn't realize how tired this job was making me. And when I was fired, I saw that I had so much more time to study and it was just so much easier to absorb all of the information because my head was rested. I wasn't absolutely exhausted from being on my feet all day. And at the time when I got fired, I was also really worried about not being able to find a job during the summertime, which ruined all my plans because I wanted to go travel and have a lot of fun. And obviously, if you don't have money to travel, then you cannot travel. But let me tell you, once you have some experience on your CV, getting a job is so much easier than your very first job that you got. So looking back, I'm really grateful that things played out the way they did because having the time before my Leaving Cert to just focus on studying and just focusing on my exams really was a game changer. So all of that was my own personal experience, and now we're going to talk about if you feel as though you need to keep the job that you currently have, even though I really discourage it. So if you feel as though you really need to keep the job you're currently at, then I really encourage you to go talk to your manager and to request time off during the Leaving Cert and even leading up to the Leaving Cert, because you need to focus that time on studying for your exams. I completely understand that this is terrifying to do, especially if it's your first job and if you don't want to cause a fuss. But let me tell you, there are a lot of managers and business owners that, for want of a better way of explaining this, they just want to take advantage of you. Managers know that young people are so happy to just have any job. It doesn't really matter how much they pay you or how badly they treat you. They know that you're desperate for a job and they will take advantage of that. Do not let them do this, okay? You absolutely need to stand up for yourself. And let me tell you that when you are an adult working, life happens, so it is normal to ask for a bit of time off from your workplace. Managers are used to adults requesting time off because they're having a kid, they're getting married, they're going abroad, or like whatever. It's so normal. So it is okay for you to request time off for an exam as important as the Leaving Cert. Do not feel guilty for this at all. So the first thing you should be doing is actually negotiating with your manager how much time you can get off work if you absolutely insist on keeping your job. I would really recommend getting as much time off as possible, especially during the exams for obvious reasons, but also during the lead up to the exams so you can focus 100% of your energy on studying. So if there is a problem with your manager being understanding about your situation, or if they just do not want to give you time off, then the fact of the matter here is that you need to decide whether this job is more important or your exam results. You do not want to be working till late the night before you start your exams because you're going to be super tired, and if you have an annoying customer come in or somebody being really mean to you, that can completely throw you off. If your manager isn't being very understanding, they might be able to come to a compromise with you where they just basically reduce your hours a bit. Because remember that to train somebody to do your job, whether it is at a restaurant or a shop, that requires a lot of effort and training, and it might just be better for them to give you the time off or to give you reduced hours than to just fire you completely. But it is preferable that you don't work at all during this period. In my case, they did end up firing me, but that wasn't the end of the world because afterwards I was able to find a job that paid me better and was a lot nicer to me. And remember, you can almost always find a different job, but you can't go out and find a different exam result unless you go to repeat the Leaving Cert. And my last little piece of advice is that I really don't think that you should be going through all of this alone. If you are struggling with time management, or if you're not sure what to do, then definitely go talk to an adult that you trust about it. It could be a teacher, your parents, or an older sibling. I don't think anybody should be going through this alone. Whether you want to still work during your Leaving Cert or quit, I think it'll be easier to do any of these choices or these things if you have somebody there with you. So don't be afraid to reach out to them. And by the way, if you are worried about finding a job during the summer or you're not very sure how to go about it, then if you stick around on this channel after June, we will be happy to make a video going through how to make a CV and how to apply for jobs. So be sure to like this video and to subscribe so you don't miss that sort of content. I really hope my ramblings have helped you at least a little bit, and no matter what you decide to do, I'm wishing you the very best with the study.